Okay. So- Hey guys, are you ready for a marketing showdown that could change the game forever? Welcome to DMA Brand Masters, where secrets of the world are unveiled. I'm your host Preeti Hoon, bringing you the juiciest insights straight from the industry giants. Hit that like and subscribe button because you won't believe what India's top CMOs have to spill. Today we dissect the marketing crystal ball. IPL versus elections showdown. With a twist of Cricket World Cup frenzy, expect the unexpected. Kicking off our explosive series is episode 1 with the marketing visit behind Infoedge's iconic brands. Sumeet Singh. Rumor has it their strategies could stir up a storm in the digital world. Let's find out if the rumors are actually true. Well, Sumeet is known for campaigns that broke the internet, joins us to share tactics so bold they are almost controversial. Buckle up for a roller coaster ride through the highs and lows of advertising amidst the IPL elections and the Cricket World Cup. A very warm welcome, Sumeet.
Thank you. Lovely to be here, Preeti. Thank you.
With a track record of turning heads and winning hearts, we are all ears for what you've got up your sleeves for this year's triple treat. A threat, if I would rather put it that way. How ready are you to shake up the status quo?
So, well, as you said, this is the first time I think that, or after a very long time, where three very large events are all happening squeezed within one quarter, you know, and all three events being very, very important, right? So, it's not very easy. I think it's a very, very confusing choice at this point in time because generally we've at least on cricket seen that between IPL and World Cup, there's always a few months, right?
Yeah,
So there's a lot of planning going on, a lot of strategizing going on, and as you know, we have a lot of different brands. So there is there is a different strategy for different brands, and we're actually
sure.
now figuring out where should our monies really go because there are three impactful events all packed in 3 months.
Interesting, and we're actually keen to understand a lot many of those. And in a world where every click can be battlefield, how are you navigating your media spend between digital and traditional platforms during these high-profile events? And any bold moves we should brace for?
So you see, we've always planned media as to where our target audiences are, right? So for in Jeevan Sathi, we still go on to TV apart from a lot of other digital stuff because TV works for parents, TV works for tier three towns even now, right? So I think for each brand, if you look at Naukri, for example, we just don't go on traditional media any longer because none of the youngsters are actually consuming traditional media on traditional platforms. So
Sure.
OTT, CTV, all that becomes very important because you see the same content, which is mainstream traditional media content being consumed, but now being consumed on a different platform. And therefore, as advertisers, we need to be there. Similarly, if I look at 99 acres, it's again a very, very different DG, right? The buyer is an older age group, right? So it's a mix of traditional and digital. But if you look at most of our brands, because we're an internet business, right? And most of our businesses are serious internet consumption. You need to be IT savvy. We kind of have more digital in our branding mixes also than traditional.
Okay, sure. So your campaigns have been known to push the envelope. And can you share a sneak peek into any innovative content strategy that are set to make headlines as per you and maybe ruffle some feathers during these peak advertising periods?
So, we've just kind of launched a very interesting series with TVF for one of our brands on Jeevan Sathi. It's getting good
Okay,
traction, so now a lot of focus has shifted to content marketing, right? And that's where we are doing a lot of innovative stuff. Some you will see within live impact shows, and some might be the surround. I can't give it all out because you have to
ah,
go, you know but there is interesting stuff being planned in and around because everything we might not be able to, a brand might not be able to cash on to two out of the three because all these impact properties also require serious budgets. But we're trying
sure.
to see then how through content can you build a surround maybe in the other activity that you're not present in live. So all that work is being going on. And there is some interesting stuff that you will see from the House of Naukri in this season.
Sure. And well, I mean, with the IPL elections and now the Cricket World Cup as your battleground, like you just said, in between a quarter, you will have your hands full. How do you plan to captivate and engage with the diverse audience segments? And any secret weapons you willing to disclose?
So, some of the things that we have done in the past, in the recent past, and we see that they're working well, is really how do you integrate content, right? Because that really helps you engage, helps you stand out. But
Mm-hmm.
then you also want to integrate in a way which is more natural or a good fit rather than a force fit, because a force fit doesn't really go down very well.
True.
We did something for Naukri in, around the World Cup, which was just last year. And that was the Naukri career score. So each
Okay.
cricketer, and it was a very well developed score, very well researched, vetted by two bodies, cricket bodies, because it was done by the data science team and marketing team internally together. And we launched it not in live cricket, but we launched it through Crick Buzz, where
Okay.
cricketers came and spoke about it, etc. That was a very interesting content integration, right? Because you were now giving a career score that made
Sure.
sense for Naukri to integrate with, and we developed the score. So it wasn't a gimmicky thing, it was a well-researched thing. So we're planning similar kind of content
Okay.
integrations in the forthcoming season as well.
Okay. So, digital transformation has been the Trojan horse in advertising arsenal. How has it changed your strategy for these large scale events? And can you share an example of a digital victory that caught your competitors off guard?
I don't know whether they caught our competitors off guard, but I think a lot of, as I said, that what we've seen is that a lot of content is still being consumed by people, but on a different platform. So if I talk about 99 acres, our
Hmm.
strategy has been CTV first, you know,
Okay.
which is digital, right? Consuming actually very similar content because it's the same content, right? So I think what it has done for us is that, of course, there is more fragmentation. First you had SD, then it became SD and HD. Now
HD,
there's
then.
CTV and mobile held, right? But for example, where Naukri has a mobile first approach to
Hmm.
advertising because the youth is more on handheld devices than on CTV, 99
Right.
acres at the same time has a more CTV first inroad into
Okay.
advertising. And we've done some innovative stuff actually in 99 as well on CTV around live sports, majorly being cricket. And it's kind of worked very, very well for the brand. So we are gung-ho, and we're hoping that we can replicate similar kind of impact in the coming quarters.
All right. So, in the aftermath of these colossal events, how do you measure the spoils of the war? Are there any new metrics of or tools you've adopted to gauge the success of your investments?
So there are lots of more tools that we are using, and that is not maybe to measure the existing metrics that we had, but there are so many more metrics that have come into being. For
Okay.
example, today there's so much more OTT that we're doing, right? There's so much more CTV that we're doing. Where can we measure it? Otherwise, you only have to believe the publisher, right? And the platform.
Hmm.
So there are some tools that we have tried, and there's one tool that we're taking forward. Then
Sure.
there is so much of content marketing that we were doing, which we were not doing earlier, right? So in
Okay.
the last two
Like,
years, have seen a lot of influencer marketing, and I think tools in these areas are also just developing. It's not that you have the best. So we've kind of been, we've always been first on measurement because the philosophy, I truly believe that what you measure will improve, and therefore we've
okay.
kind of always believed in measuring. And we've
Okay.
even for influencer worked with a couple of tools, few international, few homegrown, and we continue to do that. So I think there are about 3, 4 new tools that we are using in this year,
Okay.
maybe in the last 8, 9 months compared to what we were using earlier. And these are more in the content and influencer zone, really. You know,
Oh, so it's become
uh,
that big for you to actually have new metrics around them.
Correct. And because, for influencers, you also need to see, okay, if, they have X million followers, but then
Yeah.
are those followers falling into your TG? What is going
Yes.
on there, etc. And you learn
Yeah.
on the way. You
Yeah.
better your
True.
performance, you better your campaigns. So, yes, a lot of new tools, and we're exploring even more, you know. But we've chanced upon one or two which we feel are good, and we've kind of added them in all our brands for constant measurement, more in the content space.
Okay. And in the ultimate showdown between brand building and performance marketing during these events, how do you ensure your brand emerges victorious? And any past duels that have left a mark?
So, for us, performance is in most of our brands bread and butter. You're trying
Hmm.
to optimize it, become more efficient. Most of our performance marketing is run on AI-based experiments now,
Oh,
and we moved to AI-based experiments about maybe in the last 8, 9 months. Definitely, we were trying pilots before that, along with the large two-walled gardens where a lot of that money goes. And I think that will not really get negatively impacted during these during this month, this quarter,
okay.
which is going to come where all this impact is happening, because we kind of are not going to pull out monies from there and put it into brand.
I
We are
see.
consolidating a lot of budgets for quarter one because this quarter one is going to have so many events, and therefore it will be a balance between the two. We also and what so while I said we are using a lot of AI based performance marketing now, also what is very interesting is that we're doing a lot of video based performance marketing. While video we were earlier using more for branding, and GIF and static was used for performance. What is very, very interesting is that some of the experiments that we're doing with video for performance are working out very well. And
Okay.
therefore, actually, performance has also started giving you a very nice kind of a brand impression, because it's the same same or similar kind of message that you're taking out and customizing. So that's what's really happening, like a marriage between the two, but not that anything is going to suffer due to the other.
I see. So, what about celebrity endorsements that can be a double-edged sword? And how critical are these alliances to your strategy? And have you ever faced a moment where it felt like more like a standoff than a partnership?
So, I think today's celebrities are really influencers on Instagram, people making influencers on YouTube. Those are the new celebrities really that are mattering to the youth much more than just the Bollywood or the Tollywood. Not taking
Yeah.
away from Bollywood or Tollywood, but today you need to do a lot of these people. I think none of us can say that they don't matter because the celebrities have changed, the platform has changed, and a lot of us work with a lot of them, right? Because they
Okay.
have an influence. And we've been working on all our brands with a lot of them. We just did a very successful influencer marketing campaign for 99 Acres called Andar Ki Baat, which we did with Jackie Shroff, you
Okay.
know, and
Okay.
it did extremely well on Insta, right? Which is
Okay.
very, very nice to see. Most of these things, we let them have, some organic life because it's very easy to keep boosting and getting views, but you really want to see how well they do organically, and we do that as a brand,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
At first,
Okay.
let us see organic shares. We don't
Sure.
look at likes only. We more importantly concentrate on shares because people share what they like, you know.
Absolutely.
And so we've kind of also changed our metrics, metamorphosized onto, okay, let's not look at followers or likes only. Let us start looking at shares. Let give content some time to first see organically, is it being liked or not, and things like that. And it's all happened, I think, in a journey because you start a certain way and you keep improving, and you keep measuring. So that's what's happening. And yes, so we are definitely using a lot of celebrities these days for all
But
our brands.
I mean, that's good to know that you have your focus on the organic aspect as well.
Yes.
So what goes into deciding to back one event over another with sponsorships? That I would like to know. And have you ever bet on a dark horse like prioritizing the Cricket World Cup over the IPL or elections? And how did it pay off?
So yes, as I said in the beginning, I think we're very conscious of where is our target audience lying. We do a lot of surveys before we actually choose. We have the advantage of running an online business where we have, in most of our business, registered profiles with us. So it is easy to reach them out through app notifications or through emails to understand where is their interest lying, right?
Okay.
Today, the biggest thing we're saying is there's going to be 2 months of IPL and then immediately World Cup T20, right? Will there be fatigue or not? What will people choose to watch over the other? What is the overlap that will watch all this, right? Because
Mm.
we as brand marketers need to also take qualitative bets and not just. So we at Infoedge are very conscious of the quality of eyeball rather than just the quantity. While you need a quantity, but it has to be balanced very well with quality for our businesses.
Sure.
So we have the advantage. We do a lot of these. The teams are busy doing these surveys. Results have come in. A lot of those also give us insights into what we should choose,
Okay.
for which brand over what. Because I wish we had monies where we could go on all three, but the reality of the world is nobody will have them, right? So I think those are the things that we do minutely. Brand wise, you will see that different brands might be riding as far as sponsorships go on different events. It'll
Okay.
all come from where their target audience seems to be spending more time, because stickiness is
Okay.
very, very important for brand to get registered as well, right? So I can watch a lot of stuff, but where is it that I'm doing more appointment viewing? Where is it that I will spend more time? Becomes extremely important for us when we're making these choices. So these are some of the ways that we kind of make these choices.
And every
A
market is
future,
doing
the other thing on sponsorship is also in cricket. Should we buy
yeah,
a future, or should we do a sponsorship, or should we just be a regular advertiser? So while budget is
right.
important, but a lot of these things are what help us decide and make these decisions, consumer
Sure.
choices.
Sure. And as we gaze into the marketing crystal ball, what predictions do you have for the future landscape of advertising? And any forecast that might shock us?
Well, I don't know the shocking forecast, but I can definitely tell you that for advertisers, it's just getting more and more complicated, right? Because of the
Yeah,
fragmentation of the viewer, the reduction in attention span of the viewer. So it is not very easy, right? Now to get the viewer's attention. And for those of us who've stayed in this profession from the Doordarshan days,
yeah,
my God, now you have to kind of get the same guy in different
yeah, yeah, yeah.
know, we've also actually, I think one of the very key things that goes into our planning, and I think that might be one of the ingredients why we taste, success in most of them, is while there is a huge overlap, on the digital landscape, you will see a huge overlap between the two walled gardens, etc. But you really need to see what is the mindset of the person when that person is consuming that piece of content.
Okay,
What I do by appointment, I might remember as a consumer. When I am in a serious mindset, I might be okay to absorb serious things rather than very, very casual, humorous things.
right.
When I'm actually in that mindset of humor and entertainment, then you need to project yourself like that, because if you don't, then you will get an impression, of course, right? But that impression might not really actually mean much to you because it's
So do
not
you
got registered.
so do you think that AI is
No.
going to play a vital role in you know in this particular segment where you want to chase the deep mindset and the emotion of your customer? Do you think AI will play a vital role there?
I think AI definitely is playing a vital role, and so is Gen AI as well, right? So
Okay,
both, right? So while AI, I think, has existed for some time, Preeti, and because of Gen AI has come back to the fore again,
sure.
but AI is definitely helping you play this because it's trying to identify more valuable customers for you, etc. But I also think that as an advertiser, a lot of the Gen AI tools that are available today, I can see my team actually making so many creatives today in 1/20th the cost of what we were paying to get them made. So a lot of vernaculization, a lot of segmentation, etc., is now also possible as advertisers to us with Gen AI. So while optimization will come from AI based
Okay.
algorithms, I think
Yeah.
a lot of efficiencies, and scale is also coming from Gen AI. So I think
So
it's
what about
a
humanization in between this? It's not even part of my script, but I'm just intrigued by this conversation. What about humanization? Like if there's optimization through AI, what about the humanization of tasks and where do people who are like real people adding value, where do they stand?
I think, any tool is as good as the person handling it, you know. So even if we are talking of AI is an
Yeah,
algorithm. Earlier also algorithms were made, they were based on a different technology, right?
sure.
To do, because we are doing a lot of performance purely on AI, it still requires a lot of humans, right? It requires a lot of tech integration. It
Right.
requires your data to be correct. right? So you need
Yes.
to work closer with data science and BI teams internally as marketing, right? It needs
True.
the marketing guy who's actually sitting there can't just sit back and say, now AI will do
It's just
everything.
taken over.
No, so you're kind of, it's just, I think, made optimizing easier. So
Okay.
the manual effort that you had to put in optimizing, every day looking at reports, etc., I think that is all.
Understood. Okay.
So
That's a
I
relief
would,
actually.
yeah, so I would say it's you still need the humans very much to
Because
make
it's
all this
I
success.
why I say it's a relief because this entire AI versus human debate going on. It's so
Yes,
crazy, and it's a very disappointing somewhere that we really AI is it really going
yeah,
to take over?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm relieved to know this from you. And so coming to my last question, which is every marketer's journey is fraught with challenges and opportunities, especially during events as monumental as the IPL, elections, and the Cricket World Cup. So, how is Infoedge strategizing to navigate this main minefield?
Well, it is a challenge, right? Because the temptation is so much there, right? There are three events. All three are going to be so impactful and key. The elections are going to be very key for the country. There is going to be a lot of interest there, right? So it is very tempting. It is very challenging. But as I said, we have different brands, right? All the brands, we are really going to see where is our consumer going to be? What is our consumer preferring? Through which of these with the best efficiency, can we reach out to the consumer that will make a difference to the brands? So that is the methodology being used. You might see one brand on two rather than just one because it makes perfect sense. And another brand might skip all three because it might not make sense for them. So it's going to be very ROI driven, you know,
Sure.
and also qualitatively very preference driven.
Okay. And what about the creative aspect? I mean, it's just I'm intrigued there in that aspect as well. What about the creativity part? Like how much focus are you on the creative side of everything?
I think we're a lot focused there, lot
Yeah.
more than before, because now you
Okay.
can't just do one creative. TV, you
Yeah.
did one creative, you ran it for some time. Acha chala to chalate raho. Doesn't, nahi chala to fir chalo, let's sit and make and brainstorm another one. Today on
Right.
digital, you can target much more. Therefore, you need far more agility and you need to also have, a lot more creatives because you can do so much more testing and experimentation, right? So many new messages can go out. At the same time, then there's content and influencer, which is a different piece
Right.
together, right? So I think a lot of work, I was actually just coming from a meeting where we were actually brainstorming on a few concepts that we are going to unleash in the next quarter on content because you need to be prepared now a quarter before because content also takes a lot of time to crack, right? Especially if you're doing stuff with influencers, you need to match what those influencers stand for. It's not like a
True.
script and you're telling somebody to read it out, right? You
Sure.
know,
Yeah.
so I think it takes far more time and
So
attention
even
to
the
pay.
so even the brand has to be on the toes as per
Absolutely.
the
I think
influencers.
far more, and you're thinking because there are
So it's very
possibilities,
interesting to know. Yeah.
So I think a lot more is going into creative thought. A lot of bandwidth is going there because there are just so many things possible now, which earlier were not really possible. So a lot of bandwidth going in there.
So good to know that, Sumit, and that's a wrap on a mind-blowing start to our DMA Brand Master series. Sumit, your insights have been nothing short of revolutionary, I must say. To our viewers, if your mind is racing and your heart is pounding, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more electrifying content. Follow DMA Brand Masters for a front row seat to the marketing genius of India's finest. I'm Preeti Hoon signing off, but the saga continues. Stay tuned, stay controversial, and keep questioning the norms. Thank you
Thank
for watching.
you. Thank you so much. I enjoyed this. It was great fun.
Thank you.